What if you could build an entire app from scratch? And not just by hammering out code line by line, but by actually partnering with an AI. It sounds a little like science fiction, I know, but today we're going to make it a reality. We're about to see how this can transform a workflow, and you're coming right along with us.
Okay, so here's the mission if you choose to accept it. We're starting with absolutely nothing, a totally blank canvas, and our goal is to build a fully functional task manager web app. And the secret weapon here? We're going to use GitHub Copilot as our coding partner every single step of the way, from simple little suggestions all the way to deploying autonomous AI agents.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the basics, right? Getting our workspace set up and writing our first couple of lines of code with the AI's help. Then things get really interesting. We're going to delegate entire features to AI agents. From there, we'll dive into how to make those little precision edits, teach the AI our personal coding style, and then we'll automate some of those boring final steps. Let's get into it. All right, first things first. Section 1, laying the foundation. Before we can start building anything cool, we need to get our workspace ready for some serious AI collaboration. And don't worry, it's a lot simpler than it sounds. And I mean it, this is all it takes. Visual Studio Code, which, is a super popular code editor, and the GitHub Copilot extension. That's it. With just these two tools, we are ready to tackle our project, a complete task manager built from the ground up with our new AI partner. And now for the really fun part, we're staring at a completely blank file. This is where we get to see the AI in action for the very first time, kind of anticipating our next move and helping us get off the ground almost instantly. Okay, so check this out. The second we type just the most basic HTML tag, the signal that we're about to build a web page, bam, Copilot just springs into action. It instantly suggests the entire standard structure of a web page. This gray ghost text you see is basically the AI predicting our next 10 moves and just offering us a massive shortcut. And here's the most important part. You are always in the driver's seat. If you like what the AI suggests, just hit the tab key and boom, the code is yours. If not, a quick keyboard shortcut lets you just cycle through a bunch of other options. You always have the final say. So those inline suggestions, they're fantastic for that line-by-line work. But what if we want to think bigger? What if we want to build an entire feature all in one go? Well, that's where AI agents come in. And let me tell you, this is where things get truly game-changing. This is where we kind of shift our role, from being the coder to being more like a project manager. Instead of writing the code line by line, we're giving our AI a high-level command in plain English, just like you'd brief a teammate. We're just focusing on the what, and we're letting the AI figure out the how.
And just look what happens. Copilot takes our simple English request, it actually understands the goal, and then it just autonomously generates all the essential files for our app, the HTML for the structure, the CSS for the style, and the JavaScript for all the functionality. It literally built the entire foundation for us in one go.
But, of course, it doesn't just stop there. The app is working, but now we can iterate on it. We can ask the agent to add a more complex feature, something like a filtering system. What's so amazing is that it understands the code that's already there and just seamlessly updates all the right files to make it happen. Okay, look, building an app from a single prompt is incredible, right? But what about the day-to-day work, the normal stuff a developer does? Making small, precise changes, fixing little bugs. Let's see how our AI partner handles that. And that brings us to a really key idea here, using the right tool for the job. We use those powerful AI agents for the big picture tasks, like building out entire features. But for the more surgical work, making those targeted improvements or fixing bugs, we switch over to a different tool, Inline Chat. Here's a perfect example of this in action. We've highlighted a little piece of code, and we've asked the AI to fix a bug, basically to stop users from adding empty tasks. Now, instead of just overwriting our code, Copilot shows us what's called a Diff View. We can see exactly what it's taking out in red and what it's adding in green. It gives us complete transparency and control before we say, yep, make that change. So far, our AI partner has been, a pretty amazing generalist. But what if we want a specialist? I mean, every developer, every team has its own unique style and its own way of doing things. So now we're going to teach our AI to code exactly the way we do. And you'd be surprised how simple this is. We just create a file called copilot-instructions, and inside we can just write our coding guidelines in plain English. We can say things like, always use modern JavaScript features, or use camel case for variable names. From this point on, any code the AI generates in this project is going to follow these rules. But that's the big question, isn't it? It's one thing to write down a set of rules. It's another thing to know if the AI is actually going to follow them. Well, there's really only one way to find out. Let's put it to the test. And here we go, the moment of truth. We ask the agent to add a totally new feature, a dark mode toggle button. And it works! The code it generates perfectly follows the style rules and the naming conventions we just defined. Our AI partner is officially speaking our language. But hey, why stop there? We can take this even further. We can create our very own custom agents for specific jobs. Imagine creating a code reviewer agent. You could set it up to act like a senior developer, analyzing your code for quality and best practices. And the key part is you can tell it not to change any code, but just to give you feedback and suggestions. It's like having an expert on call 24/7. All right, we've built the app, we've added features, and we've personalized our AI. There's just one last thing to do before we can call it a day. The part that nobody really loves doing, documenting our changes for version control. And you guessed it, we can automate that too.
Oh, this feature right here, it is a total game changer for just day-to-day productivity. If you've ever coded, you know the pain of writing good commit messages. Well now, instead of trying to remember and summarize all your changes, you just click this little sparkle icon. The AI instantly analyzes everything you've done and writes a perfect, descriptive commit message for you. It's a small thing, but man, it saves so much time.
And just like that, we're there. We did it. We went from a totally empty folder to a fully functional app, and now we have a custom-tuned AI partner that understands our unique way of working. And this is really just the beginning. Imagine building specialized agents just for debugging or for high-level project planning. The possibilities here are really endless. Today, we've seen that an AI can be more than just a tool. It can be a genuine creative partner. This technology really does fundamentally change the speed at which we can turn our ideas into reality. So I'll leave you with just one final thought. Now that the barrier to creation is lower than it has ever been, what will you build next?